So this recording is a 5-minute session on cloud computing where we're going to go through 5 questions in rapid fire. Thanks, Edmund, for joining us on this lecture today.
Thanks, Andrew, for having me. It's great to be here.
So we hear a lot of conversation about cloud computing. So what exactly is this cloud computing, and how does it help us?
Well, we've all heard today's business are faced with the challenges of exponential growth of data, the need for quick turnaround of actionable insight, and just overall driving better business outcome. In short, business need to be smarter. What we're seeing now is business is certainly leading the charge because the business need to reinvent itself by delivering services faster to the market. At the same time, IT needs to rethink about how it can deliver the service faster without increase in budget. In short, IT has to find a way to do more with less. And I think our customer recognizing cloud computing is something that will enable both business to reinvent itself and IT to rethink about how it delivers its service.
How does cloud computing do things differently?
Well, without cloud computing, typically what we see in customer IT environment is that silos are created around applications. And with these silos, is very expensive to maintain, and also it is not very responsive to changes in the business. With cloud computing, allows our customer IT to establish a common layer so that they can establish standardization, they can apply virtualization to make the building blocks simpler to deploy and manage, and also automation to accelerate and reduce errors in the process. In short, cloud computing helps the customer to deploy meaningful work much faster and cheaper.
So isn't cloud computing all about that thing called SaaS?
Yeah, I would say that's probably one of the biggest misconceptions about cloud computing. There is software as a service, which allows the lines of business to access application with minimal IT involvement. And also that we're seeing in the marketplace, platform as a service that will allow the IT to come to an environment to build the application based on standardized set of middleware without worrying about the underlying complexity of the platform itself. I think whether we're talking about software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, they all share the same set of common characteristics that is really appealing to our customers. And this is all about having a common set of services so that a wider set of audience can leverage. On the costing side, these are typically done on a utility costing so that the user wouldn't have to come up with a large amount of upfront investment in order to have the service deployed. And finally, when we're talking about cloud computing, it's all about dynamic infrastructure that will be able to scale up and down and demonstrate the type of elasticity that customer need in reacting to changing in the workload. Okay.
So in terms of IT, there's really a broad spectrum of how organizations can deploy their applications, and we saw that shared infrastructure there. Where does the cloud fit in the spectrum?
Well, cloud computing will never replace how IT services are traditional delivery. Instead, we see this as a continuous spectrum of options where the CIO can pick and choose the right formula in terms of balancing the control, flexibility, and speed. And just if we look at the spectrum, starting on the left-hand side, this will be the traditional approach where the IT will source individual parts and build their own system. A lot of different vendors, including IBM, try to deliver similar capabilities through virtualization, where these building blocks are made easier to manage and deploy. And we're also seeing different form factors that has come to play in terms of delivering these type of IT capabilities in appliance. So that customer will source both the hardware and the software already pre-configured, pre-optimized. The cloud computing takes it to the next step in terms of making it much more easier to deploy and also much easier to manage once it is in production as well. So now we're seeing options where a customer can choose private cloud where the whole system is deployed on their own premise, but retaining the benefit of cloud computing that we just talked about. We're also seeing customers taking advantage of public cloud where they can maximize the time to value. These type of services typically pay as you go with all inclusive service in the offering. And also I think that in terms of best of both worlds, we've seen customers taking advantage of a private hosted cloud where they would apply pay-as-you-go on the platform itself, and then they decide how the application is developed and deployed.
Can you walk us through some of the benefits the cloud will bring to customers?
Well, we talked about in cloud computing, what we expect to see, in short, cloud computing through virtualization, standardization, and automation. It helps IT to do more with less, deliver better quality of service, and just being a better partner of a business to react to the changes in the marketplace.
How do you see cloud computing be adopted by CIOs?
We're about to see a major take-up in terms of adopting cloud computing. Again, going back to the point, the right cloud for the right workload. But at the same time, we're now seeing the number of CIOs that have expressed cloud computing as a top initiative have almost doubled in 2 short years. And now we're seeing a lot of CIOs applying experiments, leveraging cloud computing to accelerate the deployments of various business analytics projects. I think more and more we're going to see customers coming to us, and we'll be working with them to find the right solution of what is the right cloud deployment options for their deployment.
Well, thanks for your time today, Eben.
You're most welcome.